So as Corinne said, we are recording this. We will put it on our website. I also emailed a PDF of this presentation to all the servicers that I have contact information for. Just as a reference, you guys can go back. There are links in here. We will answer all questions at the end of the presentation, and please just remember to raise your hand or throw your question in the comments. I also linked the questions spreadsheet. If you guys ever think of anything, you can throw it on there. I'll check it and I will get back to you. Let's go ahead and do introductions. Like I said, my name is Liberty. I'm the HAF program manager. Corinne Livers is our economic security program administrator. And then we have Gail Andreas. She is our contractor. She used to be a servicer, so she's very helpful. Let's go ahead to the next slide. So just as an overview, we are the Wyoming Department of Family Services, and with assistance from the Department of Workforce Services, we are running the HAF program for Wyoming. As you guys all know, we got the funds from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Wyoming did get the minimum allotment of $50 million. So we are using that for arrears only. We're not doing prospective or ongoing payments. We do expect to use the full amount as there's a high demand in Wyoming. Let's go to the next screen, please. So we are doing mortgage delinquency. We're doing utilities, property taxes, homeowners insurance, and homeowner association dues. This is a one-time award and our cap is $17,000. Mortgage delinquency will always have the priority. So our example here is an applicant has $16,000 of mortgage arrears and they have $2,000 of utilities arrears. In this case, the $16,000 would be applied to their mortgage delinquency. The extra $1,000 would be applied to the utilities. Next screen, please. Yes. So who is eligible? Anyone that lives in Wyoming, occupies the property as their primary residence. The property must be single family, a condominium, or 1 to 4 units. We are also doing mobile homes that are permanently affixed. They must also meet the income eligibility requirements. So Treasury says 150% of AMI or 100% of US median income, whichever is greater. So for all the counties in Wyoming, that is 150% of the area median income. We do have this chart on our website as well, and we did update it to the 2022 numbers. They must also have experienced a COVID-related financial hardship. I know that a lot of states are not doing just general inflation. Wyoming is something to keep in mind. The applicant must be delinquent by at least 1 payment. We are not doing prospective or ongoing payments. For the mortgage assistance, it must be their first lien on the property, and they must not intend to sell the property within 6 months. We are also doing reverse mortgages. In this case, we will not do any mortgage reinstatement, but we will cover the other expenses if they're eligible. In cases of bankruptcy, we have created this letter that the applicant must have signed by their bankruptcy attorney or their servicer, stating that the funds will be allowed to be applied to their mortgage reinstatement delinquency bill. This letter is downloadable on our website, and I did attach the link in this PowerPoint. Yes. How to apply. So we linked our website on here. It will be the main DFS Homeowner Assistance Fund website, and there will be an apply now button. The documents that we are requiring is a valid photo ID, proof of income, the delinquent statement for whatever assistance is being applied for, and a utility statement is required regardless of the type of assistance that is being applied for. We are using this to verify the residency. We will take a photo ID if it matches the property that the assistance is being applied for. We do really prefer to have a utility statement just for that extra verification. In cases where a homeowner owes more than our cap of $17,000 in arrears, or they cannot continue to make payments moving forward, we are requiring a housing education session. So what this means is that The applicant will go talk to a housing educator about what their options are. They might talk to the servicer to see what funds can do for their loan. This will put a hold on the funds for 15 business days. So we did this to make sure that if someone does need to go to housing education, they will not be penalized by, since we have the smallest amount, they won't lose their spot in line, to say. This form, the checked mark section that you can see, this is going to be filled out by the client. So the homeowner is going to choose, I want a mortgage reinstatement, I want a partial mortgage reinstatement, I want loss mitigation, whatever they talk to their housing educator about what the homeowner wants. With this being said, we did put pending servicer approval. We all know that a homeowner might say, well, I want this option, and that might not be an option in the servicer's eyes. So we don't want any of the servicers to see this as set in stone. We do realize that you guys can only do what you guys can do. So we just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that we do have you guys in mind with this. As far as mortgage servicers go, we have a link on our website that has a lot of information. We have our plan on there, we have our term sheets, we have the servicer participation package on there, and that is always the most updated version. And I did link this on here in case you guys want to go check that out, just easy access. And now I believe we are going to go through how to enroll as a vendor. So in order to enroll as a vendor, we need 2 documents from you. The W-9 is required. This is what we use to get you actually enrolled. The banking letter or a voided check is what we will use to give you EFT direct deposit payments. If you do not provide an original banking document, we can still send you paper checks. So for this W-9, we can go to the next screen, I think. Thank you. So for the banking documentation, a voided check, I understand that that's not always super available for larger servicers. So the bank letter is the best option for servicers. This needs to be on original bank letterhead. It must state whether it's a checking or a savings account, obviously the account and routing number, and it must be physically signed by a representative of your company. This needs to be an original wet signature, and this must be mailed in. We have the address for mailing in on there. If you cannot provide either one of these, or if we get an applicant that has you listed as holding their loan before we get the banking letter, but we do have you enrolled as a vendor, we will send you a paper check. So if this is something that your company cannot do, you are still able to get paid as long as we have that W-9. For the W-9, line 1 and 2 are the names. So number 1 must always be filled out. If you are doing business as another name, you must have line 2 filled out. Section 3, only 1 box must be checked, and please keep in mind that we will not accept any W-9s that have whiteout on them. That is per our state auditor's office. They will be sent back. So please keep that in mind. For section 4, this usually will not be filled out, and if your company does need it filled out, you would know. So don't worry about that. Lines 5 and 6 must be complete so that we know where to send the payments if it is a physical check. Line 7 and the requester's name will always be blank. For the EIN or the social security number, only one of these will be filled out, and in most cases it will be the EIN. For the certification, this is the signature and the date. This must be physically signed. After it is physically signed, you are able to scan it and send it. We just can't have DocuSign, electronic signatures of any kind like that. But if you are willing to receive a paper check and you don't want to mail anything into us, physically signing it and scanning it is your best option for this. Now we're going to get into data transfer. So the state of Wyoming is doing a secure email for all data transfer. This will occur in 2 email threads per applicant. So for the first email thread, this is the email that you're going to get. We are going to provide the information in the top box, which is the case number, the applicant name, the loan number, the address, and so forth. For the bottom table, we will need the servicer to fill this out. We will need you to type in, this is what the delinquency amount is, it's more, it's less, whatever your records indicate. We will need to know what type of loan it is, what the current status of the loan is in, loss mitigation, foreclosure, paid in full. Please keep in mind that these loan statuses, if it's in a different status, please enter it. It doesn't have to be one of the ones that we listed. We were more trying to give examples. We will need to know if this is a conforming loan. And this one might be the most important. The remit to address is the address that we will send your payment to. If you have a paper check, that is. The second to last one is a foreclosure question. So if the applicant is in foreclosure, will you still apply the funds that we sent to you? And then of course there's a comment box if you guys have any other comments. So first email strand, you're going to get this, you're going to send it back. Then once, let me start over, I'm sorry. So we won't send you, will you go back one, I'm sorry. So we won't send you this email until an applicant is verified and eligible. So we will not be contacting you for non-eligible applicants. So you receive this, we send it back to you. Then the second email thread starts, which is the next screen. And this is the payment remittance. So once we generate a payment, we are going to send you this email with the top box filled out. And this is going to say case ID, applicant name, loan number, all of that, as well as the check or EFT number and how much we are paying. Once you receive this email, the only thing that we need back from you is a verification of the loan account number and what the status of the loan is in now. And of course, there's a comment section on there as well. So all EFT and paper checks will include the loan account number first, our HAF call center phone number for you guys to call if you guys have any questions about the payment. And if space permits, we will include the applicant's last name. Since we are also paying property taxes, we will be working
pause
with
real quick?
Yes.
I just have a real quick question on the, not the remittance one, the one before that. For the remit address, if we are enrolled for EFT, do we just leave that blank?
No, we still need it verified.
What would you want us to put in there? Because it's not a technical address, so I'm trying to make sure we're putting the right thing.
So
like
the reason that we
bank
put
account.
this in is for instances of, let's use like Wells Fargo, for example. Wells Fargo has many different branches. So just because a loan is held with Wells Fargo doesn't mean that all of the addresses for each branch are going to be the same. So we just want to make sure that we have the correct address for the correct branch for larger companies to make sure that we are sending payments to the right place. Since we have the smallest amount of money for HAF, and since it is straightforward, we're not doing ongoing payments, we want this to be fluid. We want to send communication, we want to get our answers, and then we want to send you your payment, get the information that we need back to report to Treasury and close.
So if we put an address in there, but we are enrolled for EFTs, we're still going to get the EFT, like the electronic payment. Okay, just wanted to be
remit to address is more of a backside double checking for us, just to make sure that the payment's going to the right place. We really don't want to have to send payments to someone, get them back, reissue. We just feel like that'll be much more complicated for everyone else. So this is more of a fail safe.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So property taxes, we will be working directly with the county treasurers. They are all enrolled. This doesn't super affect anyone on this call, but we just wanted you guys to have the information that we have available for you. As far as HOAs and insurance, these will be paper checks only. The documentation that the applicant fills or uploads in the application process will be printed and sent as a physical remittance. If you need any further assistance, you all have my email address for your applicants or for your homeowners, the people that hold your loans. If they have any questions or concerns, they can email the homeowner.assistance@wyo.gov email, or they can call the call center, which is 188-WYO-HAF-P. For any payment questions, I would also call that number for any of the servicers. They will have information on that. We are not anticipating many payment problems, which is, again, speaking to the remit to address, but we just want you guys to have that as a resource. And I will go into the chat. How are you addressing servicer advances to taxes and insurance, which need to be covered to reinstate the account? So Liberty, are you talking about when the insurance and taxes are in an escrow account? I'm not sure who this is because they have my
No,
name.
this is Scott from North Point Bank. If we've advanced during the course of their delinquency money for insurance and taxes, how is that is that covered under the delinquency?
I'm gonna shoot this over to Gail. She's a prior servicer. I think I might be a little confused by the question.
So when you're reporting the total delinquency, you should include PITI. So it should be the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And then why are you asking for mail of the banking letter as the mail delivery is not reliable? We are, oh, he says also no other state is requiring a wet signature on documents. So our state auditor's office, this is their requirement. We have to submit the W-9 and the banking letter to the state auditor's office in order to get anyone enrolled as a vendor for the state of Wyoming. If you are not comfortable mailing a banking letter in, you can still receive a paper check for payments.
It's not that it's not being uncomfortable. It's just, you know, who's got a month to wait for the mail? Let's be honest.
Wyoming's not the only state doing this though. So
far, what I've found,
Tennessee's also doing it. I have a list of many other states that require this.
What other states are requiring it?
We have Tennessee is requiring it on multiple documents, not just
Because
a bank statement. Like if you want direct deposit, you have to have your bank sign it, then you have to sign it. And then we have to have another thing wet signed. I know because I agree, we're hybrid, it is difficult.
okay, because
But to say
we're
they're the only
registered
state
with
is wrong.
we're registered with Tennessee and they didn't require that.
Yet we
So,
had set
can I
everything
just
up and then we
interject
just got
here
that
real quick?
information.
You are still able to receive a paper check if you do not want to bring mail in that banking letter. And that paper check will come with the printed delinquency statement that the applicant uploads to their account. So if you do not want to send in a bank letter, that is fine. Unfortunately, we cannot waive the original wet signature. That is a state auditor's thing.
Well, Liberty, the key to this whole program is, and the Treasury has stated this, and it's stated in numerous servicer agreements, that time is of the essence on this. And mailing a paper check is just as dangerous, just as slow as requiring us to be mailing our original signature documentation into you. And that's where I think the concern is coming from the servicer side, that we are not, your auditors have set this up so that it cannot be handled in a timely fashion, in an urgent fashion. And so I would encourage you to go back to the auditors and say that the servicers are questioning this need for the wet signature, and can we have some accommodation and some grace here on this, so that we can take care of our mutual customers and get them through this process as quickly as possible.
Liberty,
maybe
let me-
that's a question that can be, can that be a question that we
Mm-hmm.
handle on another call, Scott? Just because right now
Exactly.
we're trying to get through the Wyoming questions and we're
Right.
trying to get through setting up with the state. And I think that can be a separate call that you can have directly if you have a problem with the process.
Correct.
Right now, I think there's a lot of us on the call and we need to just get them through the information of the call itself. And then maybe at the end of the call, if there's still time left, they can address that. But
I appreciate that. And we do take your concerns into consideration. If you would like to set up a separate call with me, please shoot me an email. I am happy to talk about this further, but I will move forward in the comment questions and then we can open it up to hand raises. Eric Selk says, is there a person with the state for escalations or speaking about certain cases? There are. Once we get to that bridge, if you have a specific case that you would like to bring forward, you can shoot me an email. We have our call center. When our call center gets calls that are above a tier 1, they do escalate it to a tier 2, and it will go through an escalation process. And if it is needed to be seen by the state team, it will be seen by the state team. As far as the CDF and the SFTP, we will not be utilizing either. We are a small state, and most of the people using CDF and SFTP do not hold a ton of loans in Wyoming, and so we just did not see that we had the capacity for it. Lauren, I think this is still about, will the remittance email go to the same address as the initial info request address, or will you send it to the remittance contact information? So payments will go to the address that is on the W-9 that you submitted. If you're getting a paper check, that is where it will go. We're using the remit to address as a comparison.
I think my question was unclear. I'm so sorry about that. You know how you send the email with the remittance information, like this is the loan number, this is where to apply it. Is that going to the same contact email as the initial request? We just have 2 different teams, so I want to check to give them a heads up to forward it to the balancing team if we need to.
Yes, so I sent a couple emails out about the data transfer email every servicer would like to use. So both of these email threads will go to the data transfer email. If I do not have a data transfer email on my list, it will go to whoever the primary contact is per the NCSHA servicer list. If you guys would like, you can throw in your email address for your data transfer, and I will cross-reference that with my list after this call.
Thank you.
Jacqueline said we had our bank letter mailed and Wyoming had it within 3 days. Oh, perfect, sorry. Scott says CDF is a HAF requirement. I do not think that that is accurate. We have been on a lot of NCSHA calls.
Yeah, no, it allowed states to opt out. We opted out as Wyoming, so.
We do not have the capacity for it, to be quite frank. We just are not, we don't have as many people as some of the other states. We got the minimum allotment. We just did not find it to be in our best interest. If there are any other questions. All right, well, I will put the questions link in the chat. I also emailed you guys the presentation. So if you guys would like to submit any questions, then you guys do have my email. Feel free to email me with any questions that you have at any point. If you guys have not sent me your data transfer email address, please do that. Let me get this link to you guys. Can you please confirm which documents need wet signatures? Just the bank letter. So the W-9 needs a physical signature, but feel free to scan and email that in. Yes, the bank letter does need to have an original wet that must be physically mailed in. Yes, yes, Jeffrey, we have Gregory funding all set up. All right, well, if there are no other questions, I will give you guys some of your time back today. We really do appreciate you guys coming and sitting here to listen in on this. Again, if you guys have any questions, I'm always available. And I hope you guys have a great day.
Thank you. You as well.
Thanks a lot. Good afternoon.